I haven't been as excited to talk about a film as I am today in a very long time. As you can see by the title, Cam 2018 turned me upside down, and I can't wait to talk about it with you guys. But first, if you haven't subscribed, now is the time to do so. Hit that button. I bring you 2 new videos every single week, giving you a bit of a guide to content you should be watching and some other spooky stuff. So I'd love to see you here more often. But without further ado, let's get into it. Black Mirror lovers unite because Netflix's new thriller horror Cam is a feature-length film with familiar themes as a UK program. Cam is a 134-minute roller coaster about a woman named Alice, also known as Lola online. Alice is a cam girl who's obsessed with rising to the top of the website's ranking, but soon she loses her identity to the darkness of the internet. Alice is played by Madeline Brewer, who you might recognize from The Handmaid's Tale, Orange is the New Black, or better still, an episode of Black Mirror, which of course this movie totally reminds me of. I'm gonna tell it to you straight, guys. This movie is a knockout, and you only have to watch the first scene to find out why. The film utilizes Alice's unique situation without glorifying or demonizing sex workers, which is something rarely done these days throughout any genre. It also humanizes Alice organically, and you learn about what makes her tick and her background, allowing you to take a deep dive into her lifestyle without the plot being dumbed down to create empathy. We find a lot of plots being dumbed down these days. I'm definitely going to do a rant actually about a movie coming up that really goes into that, but this film found an amazing way to make Alice a character, make her interesting, and make you empathize with her without overspelling every single thing in her life. And that's a huge thing I hate in horror movies. When something is overspelled, you know that it's gonna come back in a certain way, and this film does it perfectly, and as I said, very organically. And there are subplots within this film that make her character multi-dimensional, unlike the one-dimensional character that you literally see in her show. She is dealing with stalking clients, men claiming they own her, and of course her family finding out about her second life. The writers use her personality to show Alice's complex character, but I'm not gonna lie, the Cam aspect of it all makes it so much more interesting to watch. There is a great interview from Refinery 29 with Cam producer and writer Isa Mazay, who is actually a former Cam girl. In it, she says, "I was so frustrated with the portrayals of sex workers as helpless victims that need to be saved, or alternatively as over-eroticized props who get murdered or are the butt of the joke." She went on to say that, "I think it is very damaging for people who perform sex work. The goal of the movie, before I even knew it was going to be a horror movie, was to destigmatize sex work and get an audience to empathize with the cam girl." And I'll link that article down below because it's definitely worth a full read. Visually, the film plays with the idea of online fantasies versus reality, and they do that by juxtaposing the reality of the cold light of day and, of course, the neon lights within the cam girl's room. The film really transports you to another world with a mix of cold hard truths and sparkles, much like the internet we all know and love. As we know, the horror genre allows directors and writers to delve into subjects that some find haunting or even taboo, but the themes within Cam delve inside to the character herself, exposing the idea of who we really are versus our online self. What makes one's identity? And Alice herself becomes very desperate in this, and her consequences are dire. But don't worry, there is a lot of blood and guts and what you want in a horror movie. It definitely all comes around. But what I'm trying to say is, probably even more terrifying than all of the gore is the idea of looking into oneself and your reflection on your own mortality and reality. As you can tell, I really love this film, but I did find a couple of faults with it, and I know this is very nitpicky, and I'm still gonna give it a glowing review, don't worry, but I just think it's important that I say this before you write them in the comments. You might spot 1 or 2 plot holes, and I know a lot of the comments are gonna be about how the film maybe went about 5 minutes too long, not in length, but just story-wise, it could have been cut at the knees. But I think it's important when you feel like a film should end in another way or end sooner than it does, what the director is trying to say. And upon reflection of that, I realized it was meant to have a different message than I originally thought. But don't worry, the pig is still there. You're not gonna miss out, I promise. Above all, Madeline Brewer's performance will really suck you in, and the subject matter is the shake-up we needed from VOD horror this year. This film's construction, short timing, and non-stop edge-of-the-seat drama will chew you up and spit you out. And before you can think of what the film means, it's over. This film is amazing. You guys need to check it out on Netflix right now. I'm gonna give it an 8 out of 10. It shook me. I was watching a film before this, which you'll see, I'll talk about probably next week, and I was falling asleep, and then I put this film on. I was on the edge of my seat screaming at the TV. Not once, I think maybe 3 times. For scare, I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 10, but I do wanna say, as I just mentioned, for thriller, it's like an 8. It's totally, I was sucked in. But it's situational scares. It's not really, jump out kind of scares. And for originality, I'm gonna give it an 8. I love this film. Please check it out. Madeline was amazing in this, and I'm gonna go and watch everything else she's done. I love this movie. I hope you guys enjoyed this, and let me know if you've seen this movie down below, what you thought of Cam. Did you like it? Didn't you like it? Your opinions, I love them, but let me know why. Why is important. Context, guys. I love you guys so much, and I'll talk to you very soon. Stay spooky. Bye.